Hey folks, so I'm going to show you one of my actually the most neglected terrarium that I currently have set up. But first I wanted to show you this one that I set up a couple months ago or so, and it is doing really well. I have the Pilea depressa in the back growing, the Begonia foliosa, the Begonia lichenora, I keep mispronouncing it, and a Macgravia species, and this one I actually pruned. And I put a small liverwort here which looked like it died, but it's starting to grow and recover, so I'm kind of happy about that. And you can see some moss starting to take over. Now this Begonia foliosa in the back is taking its pretty little time to grow, so I may put some other plant there eventually, like maybe a miniature begonia of some sort that can stand out. So once I find the right plant, I'll probably add that or replace it to that section. And you can see that the Begonia lichenora has spread to this area, so I could stand to prune it over here and keep it all in one section. So now with this, let me show you a couple of my other terrariums. So over here, this terrarium was neglected and I revived it, but I haven't really been able to do much with it. I had too much moisture here, so I couldn't really add peroxide because I didn't want to drown out the plants in here, the Pellonia that I have and the Begonia foliosa. And it's the Pellonia pulchra. I couldn't remember it a few seconds ago. So these gnats have been breeding. I currently have a gnat problem. And putting hydrogen peroxide will tackle it because it will keep the larvae from developing. And you can see algae, so I will have to do maintenance on this eventually, but I'm trying to let it dry out without the gnats escaping from the top. Over here, I just have a container. I need to add more vinegar. It didn't catch too many gnats because how many gnats do you have around the terrariums where I don't really have soil growing in them? So here I had a light bulb terrarium which I just put a small piece of Selaginella insonata and it's not really growing. And then here, I set this up probably about 2017, a Sundew terrarium, and it's been alive. I've been keeping the Sundews alive, and it could stand for a little maintenance, maybe less light for the sphagnum moss. But you see over here also, I have a teensy-weensy Begonia Taconite that's growing. That was one of the first Taconite I bought. It didn't last. Sometimes I think when they send them, they have some plants that may do okay and may not, and not really necessarily the end purchaser's fault. And then here are the Sarracenias, which I sprouted just about a year ago. Around this time, I had done some cold stratification, and I had two different varieties of hybrids, so I took seed pods from the two different varieties. This one here is where I pour, so it's become a dip, and these have grown better than there, even though when I pour I try to make sure it gets all the way there. And now spring is around the corner and I'll be planting these outside to watch them actually grow and get larger. But you can see not all of them on this side made it, but almost all on this side did, and it will be interesting to see once they develop mature pitchers how they turn out. So then I have here a small terrarium, which it's not doing very well. You know, I just keep these tiny sundews I propagated alive. And I do have a teensy-weensy, a couple tiny Venus flytraps right there and there. They're not growing too much. I really should wean them, here you go, there and there. Should wean them off this terrarium. You can see all the algae, but I set this up like a couple years ago and didn't really do anything with it. So it's just keeping the plants alive for now. Same thing here, I set these up a while back. I do need to add a little bit more water to it. And I propagated these sundews, and I need to start fertilizing them so that they can grow, but I do need to add water to this terrarium, so it's good I made this video or else I would have forgotten about it. And then we get to my most neglected terrarium. I set this up as far back as 2014. I had purchased this jar and I even made my own weather seal here, and it actually kept the moisture from evaporating. That the other plants died and this begonia stayed alive, and it literally lasted all this time. I only may have added water once or twice at best. You can see that the glass stands to be cleaned and scraped down. And since I moved the begonia under the grow light, it caused it to dry out sooner, that now I have to water it because it's on its last leg. But I can always pull this out and grow it elsewhere and make it into a happy plant. But in the meantime, I'm just going to add a little water to it and keep it alive in here just a little bit longer. So that, my fellow plant enthusiasts, is my most neglected terrarium. Do you have any neglected terrariums you'd like to share about? Please leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.